Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to your daily divine messages from Spirit. Happy Friday and happy weekend. This is our final weekend of May already. Mr. Chone Popsicle coming through to say hello. What a month of May it has been. How does everyone feel about this month of May? I felt like it was the fifth month, five of change, of expansion. There was definitely a major shift. They talked about, I don't know, there's a lot of talk about this whole split and the 5D and split in consciousness, and I do see that. I see that there is definitely a shift, and there's a plane that just is going overhead right now. And I do feel that there is this shift. It's like a shift into the second half of, going from the cup being half full to or going from the cup being half empty to half full kind of thing. But also this shift in perspective and your paradigms and what you have known to be real, false, true, and also again just like this awakening of what is the authentic truth versus the false truth, and how you operate and how you've been told what is correct, what is right, what is acceptable. This ego consciousness versus spiritual consciousness, and I'm definitely feeling that. So I think that this month of May was absolutely trivial and tremendous are the words that want to come through in our expansion journey. And so let's go ahead and see what this final weekend has in store for us for this month of May. Technically, the first day of June is on Sunday. So let's go ahead and see what this weekend of completion and beginning and will provide for us. Let's go ahead and tap into our heart space. We're going to do a little bit of the sound bowl. You can place your hand on your heart if you like and see what kind of prophetic downloads may be coming through from Spirit for you. Have the train in the background. I decided to keep the background sounds more of nature. You can hear a woodpecker in the distance. I'm just feeling like there's this need for grounding. Yesterday I spent like an hour outside moving my body, stretching, trying to just feel. I took my shoes off and just sat in the grass, stood in the grass. There's definitely nature that is speaking to us. The other day, my son and I were on a walk, and we did a grounding walk with no shoes on, and there was a baby bird that I think was blown out of its nest from the storms, and it was just so sad. And we sat with it, and it actually took me back to my inner child, my childhood, when my best friend and I would see baby birds who have fallen out of their nest, or butterflies that had died, and we would literally like have a funeral for them. And I know this month, there's been a lot of transitions from loved ones. And so the theme of this death and rebirth the cycle of transition, the spirit continuing on. My son and I actually did hold a little tiny burial for this bird, because I almost walked past it after we noticed that it was there, and we stood and watched, and Indigo kind of looked at it, and I could tell he was mixed feelings, because he's like me, very sensitive. He got the Mother Nature Award at school for seeing the goodness and caring so much about Mother Nature. He's the one that would cry when people step on spiders. So he's a lot like Mama, a lot like me. And so I was called that we should just go ahead and bury this bird. And so I dug up a little hole right next to the sidewalk, and we just said little prayers, just said, may your, to some people it might sound silly, but to us it felt really special and important. And just thanked that little baby bird for being here for the 5 days it was here. I don't know how long it's been here. Maybe it had a couple of weeks, little baby peach fuzz on it. And I told my son, I think that baby bird spirit chose us, for us to find it, because it knew that we would stop and appreciate it, and knew that we would stop and acknowledge and give it its due love. It's, and instead of other people who might walk past it and say, oh, that's so sad, and then walk right past it, other people who may not even acknowledge it at all, or some of those vicious people who would actually go and toss it or step on it and, just do some really wicked things about it. But it knew that we would stop and we would appreciate it and we would cherish it. And I taught my son the word namaste. And I could just see his little heart blessing that baby. And it was the most beautiful thing to witness. My son being this light, being this sweet soul. And it's just I think it's an important reminder for us all to see the goodness in all of us, to see the goodness in each other, and to see the goodness in everything. Even when or if things are falling apart, even if people are acting like mad, acting crazy, it's like there's that polarity. And again, we're in Gemini season, so it's like this duality of the good versus evil kind of thing, the yin and the yang, the devil and the angel conscience. And that actually takes me to, it reminds me of what Spirit wanted me to just tap into. There was this download that came through, and it was, the energy of Saturn having moved into Aries last weekend. Saturn is the responsible father of the planets. And I heard Spirit say, take responsibility of, we hear take responsibility of your actions, take responsibility of your finances, take responsibility of your life, but I'm hearing Spirit say, take responsibility of your energy. And that is a personal message for me as well. Because when we are wrapped up in the chaos of life, when we're wrapped up when there are things that are out of our control, when there are maniac drivers that are smashing into cars, when there are, people who are, manipulating minds and trying to brainwash, and there are just this pull of opposing forces. it's really, really easy to get caught up in that and to feel afraid or anxious or out of control and like a victim. And it's so easy. And I'm not saying that you aren't a victim if you were fallen into the traps of some of those mind controlling patterns. But I'm even hearing like, even the lesson I'm learning about my car accident that I was in by a hit and run crazy driver last week is like, I feel like this is a test for me to strengthen my grounding, to strengthen how I can stay and remain centered and rooted in conscious love and trust in source and divine, and to know that I'm always going to be protected and provided for. And even in the midst of that chaos, to not let it get me uprooted and into my anxious mind, and to feel and fall victim to hopelessness or helplessness. Because when we can stay rooted and grounded, then we can continue to think with a clear mind and find solutions instead of just breaking down and shutting down. So, reflecting on that for my own self, I see where I could have found solutions, expanded my perspective, had I stayed more grounded, had I not let it pull me down into feeling like a victim, and was able to then find, not be afraid to pivot. I have a fixed sign moon, so for those who are fixed signs, it's easy to have an idea and want to stick with it. And if it doesn't go through exactly as planned, it's like all or nothing. But Spirit is saying it's not all or nothing. There is a such thing as gray area. You do get to go back and forth. You can, try alternative solutions if one doesn't work. That doesn't mean the plans are ruined. It just means maybe this is where you can get your creative, this is where you can get creative and not let the plans be fully ruined. Maybe there was something better in store than what you had in mind. But the moment we shut down, the moment we shut off our creativity, and the moment we block the flow. So I hope that makes sense to someone and helps someone as well. Thank you, Spirit. So I know that was a little bit of a longer download. This one wants to fly out. What is that? King of Crystals. There you go. There you go. Staying grounded, staying centered, staying rooted. That's what builds security. That's what builds stability. In your heart is what I'm hearing. Keeping your heart grounded. Interesting, that heart and root chakra. Keeping your heart grounded and rooted in love, and conscious love, and unconditional trust. That Source is always planning and conspiring for the greatest and highest of my good. That the universe always has my back. That I am safe and secure and nurtured and comforted. That I am safe and secure and protected and provided for and significant and satisfied. But when we have this idea, moon in reverse, when we have an idea that we think has to be is the only way it can be, We go against what our intuition, the moon in reverse, we go against what our intuition tells us. We go against, we don't let our emotions, we don't let our emotions flow. Instead, we get so caught up in this idea that it has to be a certain way. I'm hearing with the King of Crystals, Taurus energy, because that's the fixed earth sign. So maybe your Taurus moon. That's funny. The strength, because I'm a Taurus moon, so maybe you are too. With the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Crystals. And that Wheel of Fortune also has all the fixed signs in it. And then the Strength card, Leo. So maybe you're a Leo. Or that's a fixed fire. Maybe you're Leo moon. But we have the Four of Crystals and the Wheel of Fortune this weekend helping us remember that it's okay to hold on and tightly to what you value, but it's also important to allow divine to be a part of the magical orchestration as well. Because we don't know what truly divine has in store for us. We just get inklings, and then we have these ideas, but if we have these ideas, these gut feelings, these intuitive, ideas, our emotions are leading us to these desires and beliefs, but sometimes they can get stuck, and we can hold too tight with the Four of Crystals, hold too tight on our ideas. Because that's where the ego starts to identify with the outcome, with the idea, with what we think we're going to attain if we were to achieve this particular outcome. Instead of letting ourselves see, again, I'm hearing, setting an intention and then releasing it up to spirit, letting it go, surrendering to the divine orchestration of it all. If your grip is too tight, then you can't allow the flow of what is meant. So maybe that's something that we'll be experiencing this weekend. Maybe that is something that we'll be coming a little bit more online to this weekend. Where can you reflect in this weekend what you are needing to, what you are holding so tightly onto that you're not letting it flow, whether that's a relationship or a project, a job. If you are, a boss and you're, have employees, or delegating tasks and needs to be this particular perfect way. Just plans in general. Where can you allow yourself to still hold the value, hold tight and be grounded in your values, and also release the expectations of how it has to be and the preferences of how it has to be exactly this particular way. And if it's not that exact way, if this person is not behaving this exact way, if this plan didn't go through this exact way, then, it's a failure. So this weekend is giving us strength, the bottom of the deck, giving us strength to work together with that Three of Crystals underneath. Giving us strength to, I'm hearing, to work with our strengths and our weaknesses and see where our strengths lie in working together as a team with other people. Again, it could be a work team. It could be a team on your sports. It could be a team as your family, your partnership? How can you allow yourself to step through the void is what I'm hearing. Step through the fears of vulnerability and have the strength to let go and surrender and trust that all that is meant to be will be. The Realm Bridger, reclaim your energy. That is this weekend here. We're going to be bridging some realms. What we say, there's that split. But how can you step through I'm hearing like the ego with the crown chakra under here into your unlimited self. And I love that she's stepping through the lotus flower here. And there's lotus flower in all these pictures. The lotus flower is the flower that grows in mucky waters. Moving into your unlimited self, the crown chakra. And then we have the harmonic flight underneath that. When you step through into your unlimited self, your highest essence of who you are, that's when you merge with the vibrational matches of the beloveds around you, of the beloved outcomes that you desire. That's what brings you into freedom. 2911, 4711, 1111. And then the crown, 9. Of stability, of independent inner fulfillment. And then we have Realm Bridger and Reclaim Your Energy, which is 41 and 42. Taking those steps. Reducing to 5 and 6. So these could be significant numbers, soul path numbers, ages. But this weekend we're reclaiming our energy. And that's where, thank you, Spirit, that's where that download is coming through of why I was told to share it. Take responsibility of your energy. That's how you reclaim your energy. You don't let other people take you out of your, I'm hearing your high vibrations, your high vibes. Don't let other people or other things or other circumstances take control, because that's how you lose control of your energy. So you're reclaiming it by taking responsibility of your energy. That's how you bridge the realms between the unconscious and the conscious, the duality of the light and shadow. Yeah. That going back to that conscience of the devil and the angel and the, you know, what's right and wrong versus good and bad versus, you know, masculine, feminine. We're stepping through to finally create, and this will resonate for a few, but to create heaven on earth. As above, so below with the Star of David. The 4 Agreements this weekend says, always do your best, but don't overdo. Okay? Don't overdo. That goes back to this 4 crystals. Holding too tight onto how you want things to be and unravel. That you overcompensate for the I'm hearing for the lack of the other. If someone is only giving you 20%, don't go and give 80% to try to make up for and meet them. Instead, give that, meet them halfway at 50%. And if they, and either hold the space, and yeah, I'm hearing, and to hold the space. This can be in a relationship or in a job or however this resonates for you, but to hold the space at 50% until they are able to meet you at their 50%. And right? And so, and I'm not saying half, like give them half, be a half-ass like effort, meaning of 50%. I'm hearing like meet them halfway and hold space for them to meet you halfway. Doesn't mean wait. That doesn't mean like you're waiting and just like, you know, throwing away life and wasting life just like waiting for them. No, it means like holding space, meaning you're not going to force them to come to you. You're not going to force it to unfold any faster if it can't. You cannot force the I'm seeing Seven of Pentacles. You can't force the plants to grow. You can meet it. All you can do is water it and put it in front of the sun. And the rest is divine intelligence. So all you can do is your best. But don't overdo. When you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself. And it will take you longer to accomplish your goal. Okay? Somebody needs to hear that. Interesting how that, really sits with what we're saying. Express your love. Be impeccable with your word. So I'm hearing with this also, this goes back to don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to step through and have the strength to be vulnerable, to let go, to surrender, to say, I'm just going to say what I want to say and surrender that it'll be received how it needs to be. Or I'm just going to, trust that when I delegate this task, they will be able to do it, right? And I'm just going and surrender to its imperfection, or I'm just going to put my intentions out there and bury it in the dirt and let the seeds grow from that intention, and trust that universe is conspiring to make everything align in my highest and greatest good, and the highest and greatest good of all. It's okay to express your love, but express your love, I'm hearing, without expectations. Express your love unconditionally. So even if someone or something's not showing up perfectly as you imagine, as you want them to be, still express your love. Hold space without expectation that they have to respond in exactly the way that you need them or want them, that ego wants them to respond. Find how you can receive how they are able to meet you with humility and grace and gratitude. This is the Empress, the divine feminine way, is to not settle for crumbs, but be grateful and receive all that comes as it comes. knowing that Source is always sprinkling little crumbs to lead you to your fortune, lead you to your destiny. Okay, I hope this helps. I hope this is making sense. And if it does, definitely hit this thumbs up button and just really reflect on this weekend as we move into June, Pride Month, and halfway through the 2025. All right, beloveds. Well, thanks so much for showing up here with me. And until next time, peace and love. Namaste. Bye.